this quiet momentum, right? It just takes us on this slow ride that keeps us flowing, that keeps us dreaming. Let's break down what's going on here so we can understand exactly how this song works and create our own music using gorgeous harmonies like these. Let's start by just playing through the chords. No embellishments, nothing fancy, just the basics, and then we'll build it up from there. So just follow along with me. D flat major 7, E flat sus, A flat major 7, G minor 7, F major 7, F minor 7, and back to the top. Right, sounds so good without adding anything, just the basic chords. Okay, so to understand how these chords fit together, it's a good idea to figure out what key we're in. Let's take a look at the melody. Actually, let's just stop there. There's the beginning of the melody. If we put all those notes together, we have 6 total different notes. We need 7 notes for a key, so we almost have everything we need here. We're just missing 1 note, and it's actually our first bass note, or our first chord, right? That's the D flat that we're missing. These other 4 notes are already in the melody. So if we add D flat, now we have 7 total notes. So we know we're in either the key of 4 sharps or 4 flats, right? We have 4 black keys. And we can quickly figure out that we're in a flat key because sharp keys always have F sharp in them. They don't have F. So as soon as you see F and you don't see F sharp, you know you're in a flat key. So we are in the key of 4 flats, which is A flat major. Great, so in the key of A flat major, we're starting on our 1, 2, 3, 4 chord. Then we get our 5 chord, and then 1. So actually super simple, just 4, 5, and 1. One of the most cliche progressions, the most commonly used progressions of all time, but for a reason, it just works. So all these notes are diatonic, they're all within our key. We're playing the 4 chord as a 7th chord, major 7th. We're playing our 5 chord as a suspended chord, right? This would be our basic triad 5 chord, or as a 7th chord, it would look like this, right? A dominant 7th chord. But the triad for this song is a little bit too pure, a little bit too straightforward, and the dominant's a little bit too edgy, right? We want something a little bit more dreamy. So the perfect chord for that dreamy feeling is the suspended chord. So all we need to do is take the 3rd and either move it down or up a step within the key. In this case, we're going to move it down. Hear the difference? Basic triad, suspended. Right, it has this more open, this more dreamy sound to it. So 4, suspended 5, and 1. Now here's where things get a little more interesting. We are going to start moving away from our home key. But we're going to do it in a smooth way so that it's interesting, but it's not too jarring, right? So we're hanging out on our 1 chord. We're going to move to the 7, but this is not our diatonic 7th chord. This is the diatonic 7th chord, right? It should be half diminished, or minor 7 flat 5, because we need this D flat to be part of our key, but instead we have D natural. Let's take a look at the circle of fifths so we can understand this a little bit better. We are in the key of A flat major, right? So in this key, we have 3 major chords and we have 3 minor chords. These 6 chords, or these 3 slices of the circle of fifths, make up our key. So we're starting at the bottom of that, right on the 4 chord. Then we move to the top of that key, the 5 chord, and then straight up in the middle to our tonic, the 1 chord. Okay, so nothing crazy here, but this is how we get to G minor. Remember, we said it was a neighboring chord, and we can see that very clearly here, right? It's just adjacent to the border of our key. So this movement within our key and then stepping out of our key is pretty smooth, right? It's surprising a little bit, but it's not too jarring. But it starts this momentum in the clockwise direction, right? Moving clockwise, and now another step clockwise. We're moving even farther away from our key. This is now a pretty surprising, pretty distantly related harmony. But we've set it up by starting to move out of our key 1 step at a time in that clockwise direction. Right? And you can hear this brightening movement, right? The feeling is brighter and brighter. Listen here. Right? It gets brighter and brighter. Generally, when we move clockwise in the circle of fifths, it's going to have a brightening effect. And we move counterclockwise, it's going to have a darkening effect. And that's a bit of a simplification, but a good general rule of thumb to help us come up with movements and harmonies that give us the feeling that we want. Okay, so we have this brightening, clockwise movement. But now we need to loop back to our original home key. And the way we do this, watch this. F major to F minor. And this is actually the biggest jump within this whole progression, right? You can see F major and F minor are 3 steps apart in the circle of fifths. That's a pretty big jump. The biggest jump you can make is 6, so that's already halfway there. But the reason it sounds so smooth is because the bass, or the root, is shared or in common between these 2 chords. So this is what we call a parallel major-minor relationship, which just means that the root is the same, but 1 chord is major, 1 chord's minor. And this is a great way to connect very distantly related chords or harmonies. You can think of it kind of like a portal that allows you to make a pretty big jump within the circle of fifths without it sounding too crazy or too jarring to the ear, right? So we use this parallel major going to the parallel minor to get us back to our home key. This is the 6th chord. And that brings us to the 4 in a very smooth way. Now that we have a bit more of an understanding of how this song works, let's move on to the 3rd, final, and the most important part of our practice, which is to apply the techniques and concepts that we just learned to create something new, something completely original in our own voice. Right? With all my students, we never just run exercises. We never just memorize repertoire. Because if you just do those things, you're always going to stay at a basic kind of imitation level, right? If you really want mastery of this instrument and you really want fluency, true fluency in music, then you have to take it to this 3rd step, which is to apply what you've learned to create your own music, to create original music, right? But we're still using the concepts and what we've learned from our favorite artists, right? We want to learn from the greats before us, but we want to apply this to our own vocabulary and our own sound. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's take the same chord progression, but add some extensions to fill out our harmonies. Just do it 1 chord at a time, starting with our 1st chord. Let's turn this into a 9th chord by taking the root and moving it up one whole step. You can always take the root up a whole step to get the ninth. Beautiful. And since my fourth finger is already on the 13, let's add that too. Yeah, that's a thick sound, right? But actually, it's kind of too thick for me. It's a little bit too clustered. But I still like that 13. So one way we can include that is to use a slide like this. Check that out again. So see how I quickly move between those top two notes while sustaining these bottom three. That's a very common neo-soul kind of technique that allows us to include more extensions but still have a pretty open, not too thick sound. Right? Still has a spacious sound. And actually we can use this same voicing in the right hand, yeah, for that E flat sus, but we can invert it. Oops. Actually I like that. So that was a mistake, but I really like how that G sounds over here. We still have the 4, right? That's suspended, but we also have the 3rd, right? So we're getting a add 4, a E flat major add 4. In an inversion here. That's really beautiful and very bright. So let's see how that sounds in context. Let's walk up to it. Yeah, let's stick with that. Sometimes mistakes give you the best sounds. You just gotta keep your ear open. Right, that was just an inversion there. Okay, let's go to our 1 chord. Same thing, we can turn that into a 9th by bumping up our root a whole step. And we can also get a slide here, why not? With the 13. Okay, now we're going to drop down. Let's actually just use some more 9ths here. Yeah. And same thing here. And same thing here. Right, all 9ths. So that would sound like... Let's see if we did like Yep, so those were all just 9th voicings, but moving between some different inversions to vary up the sound a bit. Beautiful. So we're going to take those same voicings, but we're going to play them one note at a time to create some rhythms and movement like this. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to get more awesome content just like this. Now, if you're looking to take your piano skills to the next level and really go deeper with your music, just check out the links in the description below to get started. Now, go make some music.